Hello everyone, welcome to another chapter test solutions by me. So today I have solved this ray optics test 1 given on the JEE platform of the NTA Abhyas app, and this is really a challenging one. We can say it's a real testing one. It's really a very good paper. Even I have taken a lot of time to solve it, so you can understand. In this paper I have written 7 questions is easy. I doubt 7 are also easy. 7 are difficult, 16 are medium, and many medium might be difficult to many of you. So it's overall a very good paper, a very good paper to gear up you from JEE Main to advanced or other exams. It's a very good paper to practice, that I can say for sure. One more thing, students, as I have already shared with you, I have released my app on Play Store. You can search by Helping Hand JEE and NEET by Siddharth Sir, and on that app I have started uploading test, and recently I have uploaded a JEE Main replica. I've selected some 45 questions out of all the JEE Main sessions from the February. This is the first test that I have uploaded. Based on that, I'll be uploading more such tests to help you understand what was asked in the February March sessions. So it would be a good test for you. It is not a complete paper, it is just curated out from all the tests, so you can attempt that also. Plus I would be uploading the PDFs of all these chapter tests on that app, so I'll request you to download that app. It would be very useful for you, and everything is free on it. Nothing is chargeable. So now for the scores, let me give you an idea also. For this paper, I think the scoring is not going to be a good one. If you have scored greater than 60, I'll take it to be a good score, and if in this time period it is a good score. If you have done 60 also is not that bad for mains point of view, not for advanced. And for the very good, if you are getting anything above 90, it is a very good score in this particular chapter test. And the range is lower this time because I feel the paper is really good. Question 1. An astronomical telescope has a large aperture too. That's a very standard question. You do it for your CBSE exams also. You know this is a large aperture to have a better resolution. For the resolution, you know that limit of resolution is typically 1.22 lambda by d, and resolving power is inverse of that, that is d over 1.22 lambda, where d is the diameter. So higher the diameter, larger aperture, it will have a better resolution. Next. White light is made to incident on the interface of glass and air as depicted if the green light is just TIR when the emerging ray will contain. So you remember this Webb-Georg, and you know this is how the lambda goes, and because of the Cauchy's relation, this is how the n goes. And hence what you have, you know, for the critical angle, this sine theta c is 1 over n. That means smaller n means it will have a smaller n means it will have a greater theta c. So for the green one, it is just making it a 90 degrees, so which are able to get escaped and which are going to be get TIR. So you say for this particular angle, this theta is just limiting theta c for this green, and you know as the n increases, the theta c decreases. So that means for violet, indigo and blue, what you will have, it would be definitely this will satisfy for them. This theta is definitely greater than theta c. This theta naught here is theta c, here this theta naught would be greater than theta c, so definitely they would be TIR. So the light that is escaping out will only contain yellow, orange and red, because for them the refraction will still be occurring, not the TIR will be happening. Next one. AB and CD are two slabs. The medium between the slabs has a refractive index as shown in the figure. Minimum angle of incidence in degrees at Q so that the ray is TIR at both the sides. So for both the slabs you need to remember. Okay, so just see for this one, this angle, let's say whatever, first calculate this theta c for the first interface. So for the first interface, sine theta c would be n rarer upon n denser, that is what how I write. So that would be root 2 by 2, that is 1 by root 2. So theta c1 is 45 degree. Similarly for the second interface, sine theta c2, that would be again n rarer by n denser, root 3 by 2, which gives you theta c2 is equal to 60 degree. So for the ray to satisfy this TIR at both the surface, it should be greater than 45 here and should be greater than 60 here. So the better solution for both, the theta must be greater than 60 degree. So what you need, the minimum angle just in the limiting case would be 60 degrees. Next one. This question I think was there in some NTA Abhyas last year, which I have already solved. A right angle crown glass prism with a critical angle 41 degree is placed before an object PQ in two positions as shown in the figure 1 and 2. Trace the path of the rays from PQ passing through the prism. So here what you see, when the ray will come, this angle will be 45, so it would be TIR. This angle again would be 45, so it would be again TIR. So it would be the path something like this. So it would be like this would be P dash, Q dash, something like that. So going by the options, I think from the first one only A is correct, and for the second one here it is basically U-turning, and here what we will have, it will go like this, again it would be TIR and go like this. So here it will be turned by 90 degree, here that was turned by 180 degree. So it would be the case like this. So this is how you will get the P dash Q dash thing. So now the better thing would be, as per this, only option A is correct. Okay, so this is the Poro prism, basically what you call. You have such figures in your NCERT as well. In the figure depicted, the object O moved towards a plane mirror, then the image I, which is formed after successive reflections from M1 and M2 respectively, will be. So just first make it sure, this is O, this is I. So if it goes here, definitely I will shift here, this I1, and this I1 acts as an object for this, basically I1 is basically object for the second mirror. So here what we are seeing clearly, for M2, object is coming towards mirror, object is coming towards mirror. And if I take it the case, basically if I take the case of what we can say, if it is less than f, so what we know, as the object goes from infinity to f, the image goes from f to infinity. So definitely the final image will shift from f to infinity, it will go towards right from the mirror M2, but provided it hasn't crossed the focus, because if it is crossed the focus, then you will have a virtual image. So then the image I will be, now it depends what is this point O is. If this point O is I don't know where it is, focus or something, so I'll assuming it is greater than f, so better go towards right instead of cannot be determined, and that is the solution they have also given. It would be better if they have marked this value also, that would have been better to show that this distance is definitely greater than the focal length, so it would be easier one for us. Now next one, a ray of sunlight enters a spherical water droplet at an angle of incidence 53 degree with respect to the normal to the surface. Okay, so spherical water droplet, let's me draw like this. Okay, let me take the shape, I have this flexibility here. So let's say this is a spherical drop. Now ray of sunlight enters a spherical wave drop at an angle of incidence with respect to the normal to the interface. So let's say it enters somewhere here like this. So with the normal means the line joining the center, and this angle is 53 degrees. Measured with respect to the normal, it is refracted into the back surface of the drop, reflected from the back surface. Okay, so it will go somewhere here and it would be reflected. So first calculate the Snell's law thing. So 1 into sine 53 you know is 4 by 5, that is 4 by 3 into sine of r. So sine of r I can get as 3 by 5, that is 37 degrees. So this is 37 degrees, and you know from the basic geometry both sides are equal, so this angle would be 37, and it is now getting a TIR. It's a tough, not TIR, it's just reflected the case they are telling to take. So again this angle would be 37 degree. So again it is going from a now a denser to a rarer thing, so it will go like this, it would be 53 degree finally. So and the re-enters into the air, the angle between the incoming and outgoing ray will be, so what you will have, the first interface it is deviated in clockwise sense. How much is the deviation? 53 minus 37, that is 16 degree if I am not wrong. Yes, 16 degree clockwise. Here it is again turned clockwise, and because it is reflected it would be 180 minus 37 into 2, it would be 74, so it is 106 degrees clockwise, and again it is deviated 16 degree clockwise. So what would be the total deviation? 16 plus 16, 32, 32 plus 106, that is 138 degrees. That's the question and the answer for you. Next one, concave mirror is placed on horizontal table with its axis directed vertically upwards. Oh, so you have this concave mirror, this is how it looks, and its axis directed vertically upwards, let's say like this. Let O be the pole of the mirror. Okay, this is the pole of the mirror, and C be its center of curvature. Okay, a point object is placed at C. Okay, it has a real image or the autocollimation, you know. If the mirror is now filled with water, now this is filled with water, so what it now becomes, it's a combo of what do you say, a lens and a mirror. So first of all, what is going to happen now? So because of this water thing, the ray which was coming from the sea, now because it is entering water, it will bend it towards the normal, and because of this, apparently the object is shifted upwards. So the object is shifted upwards beyond C, so the mirror will form an image that would be between F and C somewhere here. It will form a image between F and C somewhere here, and so definitely the image will not between C for sure now, and whatever, let's say it goes like this, but what should I do? You can do also by instead of drawing, because I am not drawn it very properly. So instead of going by the ray diagram, first thing that we get is it is getting shifted here, so it won't be at C, the image would be between F and C. Otherwise, what you can say, take it as an equivalent mirror, and what would be, it would be 1 upon F of mirror minus 2 upon F of lens. That would be a better solution for you, I suppose. And what is F of lens? You will see F of lens, 1 upon F of lens is n minus 1, which is water. You would typically write as 4 by 3 minus 1 into 1 upon R1, 1 is infinity, minus it will become 1 by R. So what you will have, it would be 1 by 3R. This would be the focal length of the lens. And you know, for the mirror, Fm is equal to R by 2, that thing you typically remember. So 1 upon Fm equivalent would be 1 upon Fm, and 1 upon Fm is what you can say, it would be negative. So it would be negative, better I should write it as minus R by 2, so minus 2 by R, and minus 2 upon 3R, that is what we are getting. So what we are getting LCM as a 3R, and it would be minus 6 minus 8. So Fm equivalent now becomes minus 3R by 8. So instead of what we can say, instead of R by 2, it has become 3R by 8. That means the focal length is reduced. So effectively the object is shifted beyond 2F. So the image would be in between F and 2F. So definitely it would be before C, the image will be formed, and it would be a real image, and it will not be remain at C. No, at C at infinity, it would be located at a point between C and O and real. So that would be option D. That is what we are going to write. That's a better way to deal it. You can also deal it by ray diagram also, whatever you feel. Next, this question, I think this is a question asked in IIT. A beam of distance d is incident on a glass hemisphere as shown. If the radius of curvature of the hemisphere is very, very large in comparison to d, then the diameter of the beam at the base of the hemisphere will be. So what I'll see, for this first surface, I'll treat it as a refraction from a curved surface. So n2 by v, that is 3 by 2 upon v, minus n1 by u, that is 1 upon infinity. I can directly write that is 3 by 2 minus 1, and this is rays going there, so r would be positive. You can call it as r. So what you will have, 3 by 2v is equals to 1 over 2r. So v is equals to what you have, v is 3r. So the image would be at 3r, so it would be somewhere here. So this distance I can make it out would be 2r, and this is r, so total 3r. So what we will have, the ray will bend like this, it will go like this, so it goes here like this, it will meeting here. So now just using this similar triangle approach, what I can say, what would be the diameter at the base, let's call it a d dash. So just using that similar triangle analogy, what I can have, d by 3r would be equal to d dash by 2r. So d dash would be 2 by 3 of diameter, it will become 2/3 of the diameter. Go with the option D, that is the best thing you can do here. It's a very nice question. Next one, screen is at 90 centimeter distance from the object. The image of the object on the screen is formed by a convex lens, real image. That means at two different locations separated by 20 centimeters, the focal length of the base is. So again, you know this particular thing, this is what we call as displacement method. So for displacement method, directly you can write it as d square minus l square by 4d. D is the total distance, which is 90 centimeters. Square L is the separation between the two places where the lens is placed, minus 20 square upon 4 into d, which is 90. So better you remember this result. That's a better thing to do instead of solving every time, and this is a very, very interesting thing that is being asked many times here. So 70 into 11 by 36. So it is approximately less than 22 because 32 6 2s would be 72. It is slightly less than 2, so somewhere less than 22. So I will go with 21.4 centimeter. That would be the answer. Now the next one. An object is placed at a distance of 25 centimeter from the mirror. The magnification is m1, but the magnification becomes n2 when the object is moved 50 centimeter further away with respect to the earlier position, and the ratio of the m1 is to m2 is 4. Then find the focal length of the mirror and what type of mirror it is. So it is placed at 25 centimeter from a mirror. It is m1, but the magnification becomes n2 when the object is moved 15 centimeter further away with respect to the earlier position. That is what we are given. So for a mirror, you know, magnification is minus of v by u, which you write as v is what you receive minus v by u, basically you can write, and using that what we have 1 by v plus 1 by u equals 1 by f. You can write 1 by v as 1 over f minus 1 over u, so you can write it as u minus f over uf. So if you write v like v as uf over u minus f, so what you have minus f upon u minus f, you can also write it like this, okay, or you can write it as f upon f minus u. Now for the first case, m1 is f upon f 25 centimeter, u would be negative, I suppose, so f plus 25, and now it is further away, so m2 would be f upon f plus 40, and they take the ratio m1 by m2, that is 4, so ff will cancel, so f plus 40 over f plus 25 is 4. So f plus 40 is 4f plus 100, so what we are left with, 3f is equal to minus 60. That means focal length is negative and is 20 centimeter. Negative is for concave lens, so go with concave mirror, so go with option B. Next one. An object of length 10 centimeter is placed at right angle to the principal axis of a mirror of radius of curvature 60 centimeter. Okay. Object of length is placed at right angle, that is perpendicularly, of a mirror of curvature 60 centimeter, such that its image is virtual, erect, and has a length 6 centimeter. So virtual, erect, and diminished image, so definitely it means it's a convex mirror for sure. So the focal length will be, what we can say, it would be a convex mirror. So now what kind of mirror it is, and also determine the position of the object. I think the option doesn't talk about the type of the mirror, it would be a convex mirror. So let's me try where the position of the object will be. Okay, so what we have, again what we have, magnification, we just write it as f upon f minus u. You just remember we did it above. So magnification is 6 by 10 plus 6 by 10 because it is a virtual image and erect image. F is what you have, because it is a convex mirror, plus 30 minus u. So what you will have, this would be 5, so 30 minus u is equal to 50, so u comes out as minus 20 centimeters. So minus 20 centimeters, go with option A in this case. Next one, this is for the prism. Thin prism of angle 5 degree made of glass of refractive index 5 degrees is a small angle, you remember, 1.5 combined with another prism of 1.75 produces dispersion without deviation, the angle of the second division. So no deviation, so both deviation would be opposite and equal, and deviation we say is n minus 1 into a. So n1 minus 1 into a1 must be equals to n2 minus 1 into a2 for no deviation. So it is 0.5 into 5 degrees, 0.75 into a2, so a2 comes out as 2 by 3 into 5 degree, 10 by 3 degrees. That is what you are going to write. Go with option C, standard case if you remember. Next. Thin lens is a focal length f1 and its aperture now has a diameter d. So what you have, a thin lens has a focal length f1 and aperture has a diameter d. It forms an image of intensity I. Now the central part of the aperture up to the diameter d by 2 is blocked by an opaque paper. So if part of the lens is blocked, it doesn't affect the focal length. You all remember every small part of the lens is capable of forming the complete image. So focal length will remain f. So we are rejected with two options. And what happens to the intensity? Now previously this was the complete aperture. So it was the complete aperture, so area was pi d square by 4. Now till d by 2 it is blocked. So now the effective area would be pi d square by 4 minus pi d by 2 whole square by 4. So it would be, if you solve it, would be 3 times pi d square by 4 by 4. So 3/4 area is effective, so the intensity will also become 3/4 because the intensity would be proportional to that particular area. Okay, So always remember this is a very standard question. Whenever you block a part of the lens, the focal length won't change and the intensity will change as per the effective area. Now the next one. There are two mirrors which are inclined at an angle theta as shown in the diagram. Light rays incident parallel to one of the mirrors. The ray then start retracing its path after third reflection. Now this is very important. Start retracing. So you know the ray will start retracing, or the principle of optical reversibility simply suggests that means on the third reflection it should fall perpendicular to the mirror. So if I draw this diagram, let me start. So let's start with the last one. What do you have? It should fall perpendicular. So the third reflection would be something like this, The ray should go like this. So this will retrace its path. And let's say this would be the second one, and in the first one it is parallel to the first mirror, one of the mirrors. So this is the path. This is the first reflection, this is the second reflection, and this is the third, after which it will retrace. So because it is parallel, this would be theta, so you can make it out. This angle is 90 minus theta, this angle is 90 minus theta, this angle is theta, this angle is 90. Now these both angles are equal and their total would be 90 minus theta. So this angle, this I2 angle, we can say, let's call it I2. So this I2 would be 90 minus theta over 2, and this is theta, this is 90, so this angle is again 90 minus theta. So as per geometry, this 90 minus theta plus I2, which is 90 minus theta over 2, is equals to, what we can say, equals to 90 degree, because it is, this complete angle would be 90 degree. So going by this 90 get cancelled, so 90 by 2 equals theta plus theta by 2. So 3 theta by 2 equals 45 degrees. So theta equals to 30 degrees. That is what we are going to get in this case. So go with option B for this question. Next one. Very nice one. You just need to remember that it retraces its path. Retrace means it should fall perpendicularly to the mirror on the third incidence. Real inverted image in a concave mirror is represented by, so for a concave mirror, F is negative, and real inverted image, so U would be negative and F would be negative. So U by F would be positive and V by F would be positive. So the graph would be in the first quadrant for sure. So in the first quadrant we have only one graph, and you can check the shape also. So that is what you can do from here. Next one. Given that the velocity of a light in quartz is given, and that means you can find out n, this is half of the speed, so you can say n is equal to 2, half of the speed of light in air. And the velocity of light in glycerine is 9 by 4, that is 3 by 4 of 3 into 10 to the power 8. So this n would be 4 by 3. You can make it from here. If a slab made of quartz is placed in front of an object kept in glycerine, then the shift of the object produced by the slab will be, so you know shift is t, 1 minus you can say mu relative. And what would be the mu relative? Mu relative basically is the mu of the, what we can say, n or mu, whatever you can write. It is n of quartz with respect to glycerine, that you are going to write it down. So T is 18, 1 minus 1 upon n of quartz is 2, 2 upon 4 by 3, that is 2 into 3, above will be the 4, I think, yes. So what it becomes 2 by 3, so 18 into 1 minus 1 by 3, that is 6 centimeter. That would be the shift produced by the slab in this case. Next one. Ray of light incident on a surface of glass slab at an angle of 45 degree. If the lateral shift produced per unit thickness is 1 by root 2, then the angle of refraction produced at the refractive surface is, so you remember this lateral shift, the formula we know is T sine of I minus R upon cos of R. Now what we say, the lateral shift produced per unit thickness, that is d by 2, T is 1 by root 3. So 1 by root 3 is sine of 45 minus R upon cos of R. That is what you are getting. So you have to find the angle of refraction in this particular case. Now it's such a question for your mathematics, and the options makes you understand it's not going to be a cakewalk for you, but you have to do, we are not left with no choice. So sine of A minus B, you know, is sine A cos B minus sine A cos A sine B, like this, and this would be cos R. That is what you have written. So what we will do here, it is 1 by root 3 sine 45 cos 45, both are equal. 1 by root 2 I can take it out, so cos R minus sine R, so 1 minus 10 R, it would be the better thing to write. 1 by root 3, and we have answers in 10 also. So what we have, root 2 by root 3 is equal to 1 minus 10 of R. So 10 of R is 1 minus root of 2 by 3. So go with option, no, I have taken the wrong one. It would be the option B. So go for the option B. So it's a slightly a newer style of question, but you can do, perhaps I have not seen, maybe you have seen before. Piece of plain glass is placed on a word with letters of different colors. The letters which appear minimum raised are, the minimum raising will be for the one which for which n is you can say is least and n is least for red, so it would be the minimum. You can directly go for this. Again, the Cauchy's relation, n is minimum for red, so it would be the shift would be minimum for red. Biconvex lens of focal length f forms a circular image of the radius r of the sun in the focal plane. Then which option is correct? So which of the option is going to be correct? So what we have, it is the biconvex lens. The sun rays goes like this, this is this, and it forms like this. Okay, so what we have, let's say if this angle is what we can say it is theta, this distance is f, and this would be, now the circle would be somewhere here. You get a complete, you will do of then the both sides, it would be that radius. So what r by f is equal to tan of theta, so r is equal to f tan theta. So r is basically proportional to f, so r square would be proportional to f square for sure. So go with option B in this particular case. Again, that's a standard point you can do for it. Next, this is for one of the possible inclination. For a different you will get different, so that would be the case in this particular situation. A men's near point is half meter and the far point is 3 meter. Power of a spectacle lens is required for reading. So for reading, the object is at minus 25 and you need the object as minus 50. So applying the formula, 1 over minus 50 minus will become plus, 1 over 25 is 1 over f in centimeters. So 1 over f comes out to be, you can write it as what we can say, it would be LCM is 50, so it is minus 1 plus 2, so it is 1 by 50. So focal length is 50 centimeters, so the power of the lens would be plus 2 diopters. So plus 2d, we are left with two options. And now go for the seeing distant object, because far point is at 3 meters. So what we need to do, u would be minus infinity, v would be minus 3. So 1 over minus 3 minus 1 over minus infinity, that would be 0, that is 1 upon f. So f is equals to minus 3 meters, so power would be minus 1 by 3 diopters. So go for option C, that is would be the answer here. Next one, given lens is broken into four, what we have, yes, a given lens is broken into 4 parts and rearranged closely as shown. If the initial focal length is f, then after rearrangement the equivalent focal length is going to be, okay. So what we have broken it into 4 parts. So when you break it like this, these all parts will have 2f. Breaking this doesn't affect anything, so all f, 2f, 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 and all are placed like this. So 1 upon f equivalent would be 1 upon 2f plus 1 upon 2f plus 1 upon 2f plus 1 upon 2f. So 4 by 2f, so f equivalent would be f by 2. Not a tough question, looks tough but not it's an easy one for you. Next, consider the shown glass slab having a thin biconvex cavity of air centered at O. A black spot at P will have image mu of glass is root 3 by 2 radius of curvature of glass surface is this, okay. So there is a black spot at P and you have to find the image here. So what we have, this is the air in a glass that acts as a lens. So what would be the basically the focal length if I have to solve? So 1 upon f would be n of air, which is 1 upon n of glass, which is 3 by 2 minus 1 into 1 upon r1, which is 1 upon 10, minus will become plus 1 upon 10. So it becomes, it is 2 by 3 minus 1, that is minus 1 by 3. This becomes 2 by 10, sorry. So focal length would be minus 15, you can say, centimeters. So it basically behaves as a, not a convex, it behaves as a concave lens. So what you will have, 1 upon v minus 1 over u, which is minus 1 by 5 is 1 over minus 15. So 1 by v is minus 1 by 15, this will become minus 1 by 5 going there, this is 15, this would be 4. So v is minus 15 by 4, if I am not done it wrong, yes, minus 15 minus 3.75, and minus means on the left side of the O. Go with option D in this case. Next one, just remember the lens, focal length of the lens also depend on the surrounding medium. A monolight of width T is incident of 45 degree on an air water surface. The refractive index of water is mu. The width of the beam in water will be okay. it is on the air water surface, it is coming like this, like this, like this. So now this is at an angle 45 degree, so it is at the, what you can say, it is the index is mu, so it would be bending towards like this, like this. So the width would be, so initially the width of width is basically what we call this thing is width. So this thing is width t here. Now this will become here, it will be, let's say if I draw this perpendicular, something like this, it would be like this. So let's call it t dash. So what we have, by the wavefront logic that you usually remember, this is 45 degree and this would be r. So just doing this, what we have, we will have cos 45 would be a good measure for us. So cos of 45 degree is equal to t by this, let's call it AB. And similarly cos of r would be t dash upon AB. So what we will have as cos 45 degree by cos r is equal to t by t dash. So t dash is t into cos r by cos 45. Cos 45 is 1 by root 2. So root 2t cos of r, that is what we are getting. Now by the Snell's relation, what we will have, 1 into sin 45 is mu into sin of r. So sin of r is equal to 1 upon root 2 mu. So I draw the triangle, it would be 1, this is root 2 mu. So this would be 2 mu minus 1 under root, that is what not it to root 2 is not over mu, sorry, I am at mistake. So it would be root 2 mu square minus 2 mu square minus 1 under root. So the cos r would be root 2t cos r, what you will have, root 2 mu square minus 1 over root 2 mu. So root 2 cancelled, so it is t by mu and it is root 2 mu square minus 1. Slightly mathematic but not that difficult, I suppose, for math students. Next one, 2 points P and Q on either side of the axis xy as shown. It is desired to produce an image of P at Q using a spherical mirror with xy as the optic axis. The mirror must be. So there are 2 points P and Q lie on either side of the axis. It is desired to produce an image P using a spherical mirror with xy as the optical axis. The mirror must be. So first of all, I can see that it is inverted and magnified image. So because it is inverted and magnified image, the mirror must be, you say is the you need a converging mirror, and the mirror, because it is less, so it would be closer, so it would be placed somewhere here. So it would place to the left of P. So go with option A like this. Next one, 2 plane mirrors 20 centimeter apart, point object in between, calculate distance between second images formed by 2 mirrors. Okay, so the first image by this would be at this place, this is 10 centimeter, and the first image formed by this would be again at 10 centimeter. Now this will act as an object at 30 degrees, so it would be 30 here, and it would be again for 10 30 there. So this is 30 from there, that is 30 from there, and the gap is 20, so 30 30 20. So the gap between these two images would be 80 centimeter. That's not a tough one for you. Next one, the XZ plane separates two media A and B, n1 given, n2 given, a ray of light A to B, its direction. The two media are given by the unit vectors mu1 and mu2. Then now this is a very nice thing. So XZ plane separates two media. So this would be the XZ plane somewhere here. So the y-axis is perpendicular, so the angle we have to take it with the y-axis. This is the y-axis. So direction in the two media is, in the first it is AI plus BJ cap, and in the second it is CI plus DJ cap. So what we have, basically what you write, the n1 sin I must be equals to n2 sin of r. So now what would be 1.5 sin r? Now sin theta can be given by the cross product of the two unit vectors. One is the j cap and second is mu1 and mu2. So n1 n2, what we can say, mu1 cross j cap would be equal to n2, and this would be mu2 cross j cap, that we can write. So what we will have, mu1 cross j cap, if you will do, if I do the j cap, I cross j will give k, j cross j will give 0. So it would be n1 into a, that you will be getting only, and this would be n2, and here it would be you can say only the c. So what we have, the ratio of a by c would be n2 by n1, and n2 by n1 is 2 upon 1.5. So you can call it as 4 by 3. So a by c is equal to 4 by 3. That is what you can go for it, or go for option A. That's a nice question. Thin convex lens of focal length f is put on a plane mirror as shown in the figure when an object is kept at a distance a from a lens mirror combination. Okay. combination, its image is formed at a distance a by 3 in front of the combination. Okay, the value of a is, so you have a focal length, a plane mirror, object is at distance a here, and the image is formed at a distance a by 3. Okay, so basically what we can say for the equivalent mirror, 1 upon fm equivalent is 1 upon fm, which is 1 upon infinity, it goes minus 2 upon f. So 1 upon fm equivalent is minus 2 by f, so fm equivalent is minus f by 2. So just putting the values, 1 over v is what we will have, 1 over v is 1 over minus a by 3 plus 1 over u, 1 over minus a is equal to 1 by f, which you can say as 2 by f, minus 2 by f. That is what we are getting. So what we get now, everything is negative, so cut it off. 3 by a plus 1 by a is 2 by f, so 4 by a is equal to 2 by f, so a is equal to 2f. Go with option 2f. That's the answer that you will get here. Next one, thin converging lens of focal length 25 forms the image of an object on a screen placed at a distance at 75 from the lens, that is the distance of the screen. Now the screen is moved closer to the lens by a distance of 25 centimeter, the distance through which the object has to be shifted. So just optical reversibility, no, not all reversibility, it's such a, just to get me, forms the image of an object placed at a distance 75. Now the screen is moved closer to the lens by a distance of 25, the distance through which the object has to be shifted, so the image on the screen is sharp again. So for the first case, let me check. V is equal to 75, f is equal to 25. So first of all calculate the value of u. So 1 over v 75 minus 1 over u is equal to 1 by 25. So 1 by u is 1 by 75 minus 1 by 25, take the LCM as 75, so it would be minus 2 by 75. So u 1 by u, sorry, so u is equal to minus 37.5 centimeters. Now for the second case, what you need to have, v is equal to 50, f is 25, again calculate. 1 upon u dash now would be 1 upon 50 minus 1 upon u dash is 1 upon 25, so 1 upon u dash is 1 over 50 minus 1 over 25, that is minus 1 over 50, so u dash is minus 50, so the shift is 12.5 centimeters. Go with option C in this case. Next one. Now the last one we have, the last question we have is plane mirror. A plane mirror is at 25 centimeter from a concave spherical mirror perpendicular to the principal axis of the concave mirror facing each other. So it is something like this. Okay. At what distance in front of a concave mirror should we place a candle? So that image formed by two mirrors are at the same distance from the candle. Radius of the mirror is given, and consider images formed by rays emerging from the candle heading initially towards the plane mirror only. Okay, so here is the candle. So what we say, if it is placed at this distance, the distance will be the same. So let's say you have to find the distance from the, at what distance in front of mirror. Okay, so let's call this distance as y first of all. So this will also be y, and let's say this is be x. So now you are very much sure the both images are at same point. This is the first image and this should be the second image, and we have to consider the rays which goes from this mirror to this mirror. So it means the object is this and the image is also this. That only happens when this distance is equal to 2f, and that means 2y plus x is equal to 2f. That 2f means that is 40. So 2y plus x must be equals to 40, and it is placed 25 centimeter, and x plus y is equal to 25. That is also given. So what we are left with, x plus y is also 25, so that means putting it there, the y comes out to be 15, so x comes out to be 10 centimeter. That is the answer that we will get. So x is equal to 10 centimeter. So while taking the screenshots, I somehow missed this question number 21, so let me do it now. You have a cross section of a glass prism as the form of an isosceles triangle. One of the refracting faces is silvered. Okay, wait a minute. One of the refracting faces is silvered like this. Ray of light falls normally on the other face. After being reflected twice, it emerges through the base of the prism normal to it, the angle of the prisma. So it goes like this. Okay, it would be too closer. Let me draw it again. Okay, it goes like this, it again goes like this, and then it goes like this. This is 90 degree, this is 90 degree, this goes this. So we know if this angle is angle A, this is from geometry, this would be 90 minus A, this will be A, this will be A. Now this is 90 and this is 2A, so this angle becomes 90 minus 2A. That means this incidence angle at this surface becomes twice of A. So this becomes twice of A, and this angle is 90 degree. This is what we are getting here. So this is 90 minus twice of A here, and because it is an isosceles triangle, this is an isosceles triangle, so we know these two angles are equal. These two angles are equal, and this must be equals to 180 minus A by 2, that is 90 minus A by 2. So this is 90 minus A by 2. So for this triangle, what you will have, 90 minus A by 2 plus 90 minus 2A plus 90 equals to 180 degrees. So this 290s I can take it out. So 90 becomes equals to 5A by 2. So A becomes 180 by 5. 180 by 5 means 36 degrees. So the rest two are 72 and 72. That is the only possibility that we have. So 72, 72, 36, that is what we are getting. So that is an option given as option B. There 72, 72, 36. So this was the complete paper. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.